Hi there guys, welcome to Boxbread. Here I'm just going to give my early thoughts on the fight that's happening between Julio Cesar Chavez Jr. and Sergio Martinez. The reason I'm going to do this early thoughts video rather than a straight prediction video is because I find with fights like these that in my mind are rather competitive fights. It's best to ponder them for a longer period before coming to a final decision. So yep, I'm just going to give you my initial thoughts as this fight was announced, and we'll take it from there. So first of all, this is a great fight. Us boxing fans have been asking for this fight for a while now, and now we have it finally. I have been increasingly impressed with Chavez Jr. inside the ring, with his performances, the way he's grown into and matured into his style of an inside pressure sort of fighter, and the way he's been able to defeat guys over the last few fights has made this far more competitive in my mind than a few fights ago. You know, I don't agree with Chavez Jr. Outside of the ring, the way he conducts himself. I think it's unprofessional, but that's for another video. I'm not going to go into that too deeply now. But looking at the actual fight, Chavez Jr., as I said, has matured into this inside fighting style. So first of all, I initially see this as an inside versus outside type fight, where I'm expecting Chavez Jr. to come in and try and cut off the ring, pressurise Sergio Martinez, and if not stop the guy, at least rack up a lot of points to try and get that point to win. He will have a size advantage, notable size advantage in this fight. I was looking at the two guys facing off at one of the press conferences, and what was quite clear is that Chavez Jr. has a distinct height advantage, a substantial height advantage in my eyes, and he will be the bigger guy. We know that he blooms up in weight by fight night. We've had this whole thing about him missing drug tests, reports of him skipping them, and it seems that he can get away with a lot of things which he shouldn't be, quite frankly. But like I said, maybe I'll make another video discussing my thoughts on Chavez Jr. But these things have to be questioned, and I'm expecting him to have a big size advantage on the night. Martinez is, as I said, shorter. He's the outside fighter, the slicker fighter, and one thing's going to work for him in this, I feel, is that he has a lot of power, and he has power late on in the fight as well. He has power for the full fight, the full 12 rounds, and he has stamina for the full 12 rounds. If you look at the punches, Martinez was throwing at Macklin in the 11th round when he stopped him, I believe. Just brutal punches. You rarely see a fighter able to throw those type of punches in those latter stages of a fight with that accuracy and that explosiveness, that energy, and that's something Martinez really has under his belt in this fight. So I've also been wondering, how does Chavez Jr. choose to go in with it at this fight? Because I'm saying, which guy is more likely to move away from his actual style he's been using? I think Martinez is always been that slick type of fighter. He's not going to certainly move inside and try and brawl with Chavez Jr. And that's something I feel he really needs to make sure he does not do in this fight. He doesn't want to get pulled in to a fight, because that's something Junior may try to do with him. Try and pull him into a fight. Try and pick at his pride and taunt him a little bit. I think he did that with Andy Lee, and Lee fell for it. But I think Martinez is a bit more of a boxing brain, and I think he'll be able to work, just stick to his game plan, as it's worked for him so far. So I think Chavez Jr. I've been thinking of questions. Will he be a bit more standoffish? Will he try and invite Sergio Martinez onto him? Maybe he will. His camp will see something in that to exploit. Maybe he will play a little bit of a game where he calls Martinez onto him, tries to get Martinez to open up, and then it's far easier for him to get close himself, and then he might get in close. So he might even try and fool Martinez to come in on the inside in a way, and then just sort of get on the inside and start working that body, because I don't think that Chavez Jr. is going to be able to outbox Martinez from the outside. Yes, he has a decent jab, Chavez Jr., but in terms of landing punches on Martinez from distance, it's very, very difficult. And Martinez is quite an accomplished outside fighter, so I think that he will be able to, land more effective punches and dominate the fight from the outside. So in my eyes, Chavez Jr. can either move forward and do it the old-fashioned way, or he can just take a step back, invite Martinez on, and then actually come inside from there, because that might make his job a little bit easier. Rather than chasing, he can fool Martinez into moving inside himself before he pounces on the inside, and he can switch that up throughout the fight. Against a guy like Martinez, who is slick and quite a good thinking fighter, you have to do stuff like that. That's my initial thoughts on how these guys are going to come into the ring, how they're going to play against each other, in this fight. Personally, I think it'll be a bit more straightforward than that. I actually do think right now that Chavez Jr. will be the guy coming forward and trying to catch Martinez. And Martinez really needs to have, use his full potential of his foot movement to escape and to actually. But the thing with Martinez is that he has the ability to hold the centre of the ring also, because he has that power that I mentioned. He's not the type of guy who will just take shots. Like Andy Lee perhaps didn't have the power to hold off Chavez Jr. Martinez has that pop in his punch that may make Jr. think twice when he's rushing in. That's how he's able to hold the centre of the ring, and that's something working in his favour as well. So it's an interesting fight. The improvements I've seen in Chavez Jr. lead me to think that this is far more competitive than I once thought. But I will be looking at this, giving a proper prediction video later on down the line. But they're just my initial thoughts, and really looking forward to this fight. Also, I'm concerned that if Martinez was to win a decision, or everyone thought he won the fight, that he would get basically robbed out of it, because the way I just think that Chavez Jr. And the WBC, there's something going on there, and there's something just dishonest and unprofessional about the whole dealings between them. I just don't buy any of it. But I do think inside the ring, I have respect for Chavez Jr. It's just the stuff he does outside the ring I don't really agree with. But that's like I said, for another video. I hope I've dropped some thoughts of mine on this video. And I will drop a proper prediction video later on down the line where I give my prediction on this fight. But that's just some early thoughts, because I know we're all thinking about this fight. It's a really good fight, and everyone's got their own thoughts on this. Some people for some time now have felt that Sergio Martinez deserved this chance because he was the clear winner. A lot of people now actually are calling for, saying Chavez Jr. now has it in the bag. He's proven the fights they've seen him have. They believe that he has what it takes to beat Sergio Martinez. And that's for good reason, I will say. I think that, like I said, the improvements he's made ask questions now. So I'm going to leave it there. Thanks for watching this video, guys. So keep an eye out for my prediction. This is Boxped, and I'm out.